Once again, I forgot to hit that damn live button. Hit the 30-second timer. Yep. See, I'm left unsupervised. No trained professionals at all in the building. Just me. So anyway, I hope everybody's all right on this lovely Thursday afternoon in the desert. It's cooled off considerably. Yesterday it was 118. Right now it's 114. Yay. Not too shabby. So how's everybody? I've been going nuts. Hey, Shirley. Christine, hello. Pool guys have been out back all day pouring concrete. They got about half the patio done. Jeff's under the weather. He's not feeling well. He said he'd pop in if he was feeling better, but don't know. So hopefully he is all right. I don't imagine he'd mind if I said what's going on. He said this morning he's got a nasty migraine, and I sympathize. I get those, and they just kick my butt. And I take a couple different things for him, depending if it's daytime or nighttime. And the nighttime one, I mean, it just lays me flat. So I get it. And it's just no fun when your head feels like it's going to explode right off the shoulder. So Jeff, if you're listening, I hope you're feeling better, bud. Michael volunteered to come in. So let me put the link up. And I will do that, Mike. And I hope you're still there. Did I paste it? Paste it. There we go. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, things are good. The patio's looking great. There's some quirk hiccups. The guy that we're dealing with a pool company, he's just like not real forthcoming when it comes to updating plans and stuff. So I got a feeling when I go back out there, the form for this one planner is going to be way off. And he goes, well, it's no big deal to tear forms out. Well, it's not, but it's extra work for these guys. And if they're going to pass that on to us, and the cost at the end, I don't want that. That ain't right, So I don't know. It just, I used to teach landscape design and also landscape irrigation, and the kind of irrigation these guys are doing and what he was talking about. Same guy that, did the layout for the backyards, doing the layout for the irrigation. He has no clue what he's doing. I get really adamant about that. Hello, Jose. Welcome in. And there's only one way to do irrigation. That's the right way. Sprinklers, landscape sprinklers, front yard, backyard, landscape sprinklers. And I don't know, these guys don't know what they're doing. They just do it the way they've always done it. And it's not the way I used to teach it, Anyway, I can get on a rant for that, and I already have. And I could even teach them how to do it. Problem is, I got rid of all of my, hi, Rachel. Hey, Don. I got rid of all my lectures, all my notes. If I did that, if I went and taught them how to do irrigation, I'd have to start from scratch. I got most of it up here, oddly enough, but, it's still. It's Smiley. And who else is in the house today? Whip, how you doing? And Dean and Michael. Yep. I threw a link in the chat, Michael, if you're still there. And let's see, who else did I see? I know I saw Christine and Shirley. So every time I do this, it feels like a romper room, with the little, the magic mirror thing. Kind of the way, Joe. Yeah. What? Got to the bottom of that one yet? Not a clue. Yeah, not a clue. So I don't know if any of you ever looked at the thumbnail. That's our coffee cupboard. I've got a mug in there that hey, there's Mike. There you are. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Ron.
Let me get rid of this weird background. I guess it's all right. It's kind of blue. I clicked on stuff without knowing what I was doing,
Yeah, StreamYard's changing a lot of stuff too, so.
Yeah, I don't know how to get rid of just no background. Where is the no background? Was it just, Huh?
Probably in your media.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking, and it's all these colors, but there's no way back out of it. So we'll just, here we are. It's blue. Well, water, we should be all
Yeah,
right.
it works.
So anyway, how's stuff?
Oh, been pretty good.
Good. I haven't seen you much lately. I haven't been around.
We had a mic drop stream last night.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. What was I got? God, I watched the USGS page, and I was looking at all the earthquakes in your part of the world. What's the deal?
I don't know. They've been getting more and more prevalent.
Yeah, more than I'm getting here. Fortunately, I mean, better you than me.
Well, we usually never get them here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Is there a lot of oil drilling in the areas?
No, not really.
Because that's a theory I was watching this one guy have. That
fracking?
No, not necessarily fracking, but drilling. Where like if you look in Texas, I mean, there's in a few square miles, there's hundreds of drill points.
Mm-hmm.
So there's hey Jesse, so all these perforations of the Earth's crust are bound to start fracturing and do something.
Well, yeah, they're going to move.
Yeah, it's gonna move, and it's been moving. Yeah, so we had one, I don't know, a couple months ago, and I even did a little video of it because that's the first time it's shaken since we've lived in this house that I felt. We get all these little small ones all the time.
Yeah, we've had a few where you can, if you look at like the top of the water on a tank, you can see it kind of move a little bit.
Yeah. I do that with my cup of coffee. All of a sudden, it'll start vibrating.
No, I do too. Both hands.
Yeah, the ground is shaking. Fish Fam Link is here. Howdy. Welcome in. Yeah.
Sometimes it's shaking so bad you can't even get a drink out of it.
No, we haven't had one of those in a while. What's his name? Jimmy P.
Yeah.
He lived right in the hot spot, or lives right in the hot spot. The one.
Oh, yes.
We had these two massive, like 7.0s. We were in Orange County, and it was on the 4th of July in 2019. And I'm sitting at my desk in Orange County, and all of a sudden it starts moving. And it sort of backs off and picks up, backs off, picks up. You don't know when it's going to stop or if it's going to stop or get worse or what. They're freaky. When they start, they're freaky. And I knew that was a big one. And I knew it wasn't really close, though. And it was, I forgot what it was, 7.1 or something like that.
It's still pretty good size.
Yeah. It's really a good size. And then the next night, we were here. Hey, Glenn. Yeah, I love that. Ronaldo, yeah. Once upon a time, a famous football player in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. The next night we were here in Palm Desert. We were waiting at the checkout at the Stater Brothers grocery store, just the other side of the freeway here. And all of a sudden it started shaking again. And it was bigger that night than it was. And we're closer now, too. We're right on top of it. And it was, I think a mid 7 or high 7. And yeah, wow. Anyway,
I got a friend of mine who lives out there in California.
Yeah.
And he was telling me they were working on a car one night, and it started shaking so bad that the car actually fell off the lift.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. In fact, I think that happened to somebody in Ridgecrest where Jimmy P lives, and they died. They were working on their car and they got crushed. So in one of those two events. So yeah, not a good thing. Hey, Lana. Yeah.
That's never a good thing.
No, it's sad. It's just freaking sad. So yeah. But anyway, it's what we live with here in California, It's why we've got mountains that are 14,000 feet tall and Death Valley that's
you deal with earthquakes and we deal with tornadoes.
Yeah. And I've heard people say I'd rather have the tornado. Not me.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see earthquakes coming, but they're not that kind of devastating.
That one that tore through here several years ago was over a mile wide. We watched the damage from that. I've been in 7 of them.
Right. I mean, earthquakes are devastating, but not like that, so.
You watch them when you can watch them throw a boat or through a tree.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something.
Or take a tree and twist it.
Yeah. 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 Rips buildings right off their foundations and all that.
Yep.
How's
I watched it pick a whole 2-story house up and turn it completely around on its foundation.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's powerful stuff. That is just amazingly powerful stuff. So, wow. How's your fish world?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
I got more freaking fish spawning than I know what to do with.
Wow, what a quality problem. Really? Golly.
And Cheryl's supposed to be coming here around on the 19th, I think. She's going to take some back with her and bring me some.
Cool.
So
yeah, very cool. I've been to the fish store, and geez, it feels like a couple months now. Not even PetSmart. Yeah. So.
Almost a year.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just go in, look, see what he's got, and leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I got yesterday. They came in from Pelham's auction was from Jason at 5 Star Bettas.
Mm-hmm.
Some lyre tail mollies. They came in. The water was 100 degrees, 99.5 degrees, and that they were fine. And then about a week before, maybe 2 weeks before, I got some orange Venezuelan cories from Night Owl Aquatics from Drew. Those are cool. They were nice. They're fine. And then so the ones before that I got from Branton Lightcap. I got those what do they call it? Green dragons, the short fin green dragons.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've got long and short, and then I've got snow dragons.
Yeah, they're pretty fish. They are really pretty fish. So
Greg Sage is going to be in Atlanta this weekend. He's going to be doing a talk there.
Where in Atlanta, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a big fish club or a fish show?
Yeah, he's there every year.
Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea.
ALA, I think.
Yeah. There was supposed to be, there was twice last 2 years. It's called Saki. It's actually in Surprise, Arizona. It's kind of northwest of Phoenix. And last year, it's 1st of April, was supposed to be Dean Tweedell.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, and he canceled because of health issues, I guess. And then this year, it was supposed to be LRB, and he canceled. So it's like, oh, geez. And I didn't go because I'd forgotten all about it. It's like a week after, second week of April. And it's like, oh, geez, that was last week. Missed that. I'd have gone,
Right.
But it's all mostly killifish. The year before, there was a guy, Eric,
Bodrock?
No. He does catfish. Thomas, Eric, Dr. Eric, maybe Thomas.
I don't know.
And he did year before last, he did a really good pitch on catfish. And plecos and cories and other whiptails, and it was really a good pitch. And he's the one that suggested using for pleco caves
bamboo.
Yeah.
Rachel O'Leary suggested that too at one time.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So it makes sense because as the bamboo starts to break down, and right away it gets that bioslime.
Yeah, and they'll munch on it too. So
their first meal, they don't have to go search. They instead of terracotta or PVC, that's their first meal right there. That bioslime, and I think that's true for whiptails too.
Oh yeah.
I was going back and forth with Richard from Go With the Flow about that. He's got baby whiptails, and they're so damn cute. Yeah, an edible cave, exactly. And big bamboo. That was an old Cheech and Chong thing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but big bamboo is not cheap.
No.
You go to you can't get it at the home centers.
No.
You have to go to a landscape supply place, or find somebody that's growing it.
We used to have it growing. You get the bamboo to get about like that big.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that stuff's almost impossible to kill.
Yeah.
But it's so invasive.
Yeah. Yes. But there's neighbors over at my in-laws that have bamboo that might be big enough. Oh, there goes my cat. My furry alarm just went off.
Mine too.
Yeah. Hey there. Yeah. That I got to ask them if they'd be willing to let me cut down maybe one or two of their dead canes. I'd have to bring my truck, and then cut them into shorter pieces to get them home, and then I guess I could cut them into even shorter pieces.
You get quite a few caves out of one or two caves.
Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe bundle them in threes, something like that with a zip tie. Or is that your fur? It is your fur ball. I recognize whiskers.
Yeah.
Here, this is mine. Mine's kind of a camera ham.
Mine, she tries to be.
Yeah, this is Jingle Bells. Nice, sweetie. Okay, go play. Yeah, Kathy ought to be, well, not for another hour. She's hungry all the time.
Mine too.
Or she just wants to eat all the time. I really think she's got an eating disorder. She wants treats, and I don't give them to her. Hey, Richard. So Kathy will give them to him. Did the fish come in, Richard? I hope. God, those fish I got yesterday, it was 4:30, 4:45 by the time they showed up.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, that's late. UPS,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're at the far end of the valley for them. So
better than USPS.
Yeah, I won't use them for fish anymore.
The last shipment I got through USPS looked like somebody run over it with a truck.
Yeah, I've heard stories of that too. In fact, one of my first fish shipments went out from eBay to I think the guy was in Massachusetts, might have been New York, doesn't matter, and they were priority, and I'm watching the tracking, and they end up just falling off tracking. It was either on a Friday or Saturday. I probably shipped them on a Monday because that's usually what I try. And it was either Friday or Saturday. They just fell off tracking altogether. And they popped back up out for delivery on Monday or Tuesday. So it's 8 or 9 days. And the guy said he could smell them before
he opened the box.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was just, it was black, soupy, low tide. It was terrible. So,
yeah. And I had one shipment that it went out on Monday.
Yeah.
Wednesday it dropped off.
Right.
And then Thursday it popped back up, but it didn't move. Wasn't going nowhere. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it didn't move.
Yeah.
It showed up on my doorstep Monday, but still showed it was at the same place.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Hi, Stefan. And no, I do not remember that ad campaign. I shipped my pants. Really? I was saying it out loud. I kind of get it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ship shrimp still, USPS priority. And the small, it's not the flat rate box.
Yeah.
But I will not ship fish with them. I've been doing a UPS second day air.
Yeah.
And that usually works pretty well, but now it's getting so damn hot everywhere. I think I might just back off completely.
Yeah, it actually hit 95 here today with a heat index of 101.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, with the humidity?
That's the first time it's been that way all year.
Right, yeah. It was
We've had so much rain, though. I mean,
wow, yeah. No, we have seen none of that. We had very little rain this winter. Last winter, we got a lot of rain. And then last summer, we had the tail end of that Hurricane Hillary that came up through Mexico and right up kind of central Southern California over the mountains and just leveled part of the Coachella Valley here.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, this past winter, almost no rain at all.
I figured it up over the past almost 4 months. We've had a little over 2 foot of rain.
That's insane. That is insane. Yeah.
But you go a friend of mine was doing fence posts the other day. You dig down about 1.5 feet and it's just dry as a bone.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's not getting down, huh? It's just running off.
Just absorbing.
So dry. Yeah, it takes a long time to permeate.
Yeah, we've been in a drought past 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And then now all of a sudden, we get all this rain. Ponds are running out of that pond, and my big pond was out of its banks for almost 2 weeks.
Oh, wow, yeah. Fish go with it or no?
I have no idea.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Is that a koi pond or
No, it's a natural pond. It's over an acre.
Oh, wow. So there's fish in it, I guess.
Oh, yeah. There's paddlefish and bass, crappie.
Oh, wow. All right, cool. Catfish too?
Oh, yeah. Flatheads.
Yeah.
bullheads in there. There's whitecat in it.
And just go out the door and go fishing, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't gotten a line wet in a lot of years. In
I
fact, I was
haven't
thinking
in
about selling
a
all my
couple years.
gear. Huh?
I haven't in a couple of years.
Yeah. I was even thinking about selling all my gear just because I'm not using it.
Might as well hang it up.
Yeah. We used to go off the breakwater, off of Newport Beach. We'd go every Friday night. We'd bring a case of beer and, and the other stuff. And we'd go fishing from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, usually till midnight, sometimes later. We almost got washed in a couple times, big surges coming up over the breakwater.
Yeah.
But used to, and as the season, we were over a year, and as the season changed, the fish would change. And it was fun. We used to catch a lot, and good eating stuff too. So I miss that. Getting too old to be crawling around breakwaters anymore, though.
We can go up there, usually catch a bunch of pan-sized crappie almost all day long sometimes.
That's fun. Yeah, that is awesome, Glenn. Yeah, I miss that. So I don't know. I miss living in Orange County because I miss my garden. The weather's not bad. It's probably some of the best weather on the planet. And Disneyland was right up the street.
But a lot of the fields around here are just now drying out enough that the farmers are actually able to get in and get some of the crops out.
Yeah.
So but the ones baling hay, some of them have got them cut, got it laying, but it's going to take a while before they can bale it because it's just too wet.
Yeah, rot. Yeah, what's Jesse saying? All right, break time. Just finished taking down 755s and replacing with 1520s, 375s, and a 7-gallon. Yeah, no kidding. Wow. You got that? What is that, Jesse? A big old barn or like a warehouse?
I think it's a barn, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah, I saw the outside once just from a video he did. That would just get me in trouble. I don't know if I'd stay married. I don't know if Kathy.
I grew up when I had the big fish room up and going out there in the garage. I had 194 tanks. I had another 100 and some in storage.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Spray foaming a terrarium custom foam bag. Oh, very cool. I've seen people doing videos on that using the foam to make the carved backgrounds, and I guess sticking rocks and sticks in it and bark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that looks
my neighbor behind me. He does the terrariums and paludariums and all those.
Yeah.
And he's all the time doing that stuff.
That looks like fun. I think I saw Gil do one of those too.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some talented people out there. My arts and crafts is a little rusty.
I know. I watched that video of yours where you cut the rock with the skill saw for that 75. I watched that over again.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, that was fun. That took some time. That rock.
It's not easy cutting that stuff, especially with a skill saw.
No. Yeah, just regular skill saw and a carbide blade. That rock. I think it's a metamorphic rock. It was really hard.
Oh yeah.
If it had been sandstone, I could have been through the whole lot. And,
it's like trying to cut granite.
Oh yeah. And I'm not sure what it is. It's cool looking, and it had all these weird layers in it. Different colors and all. MD did one that came out the top of the tank. Yeah, I seem to remember that. Yeah. Barn's a pretty decent size. That's not, where do you go with that? Yeah, part of my barn tore out chicken stalls to build the 1,000 square foot room. Nice. And they're probably not as noisy as chicken, are they?
Probably not.
Yeah, a little better behaved.
But yeah, I thought I'd jump up here for a little bit, Ron.
Well, I appreciate it. It's good to see your face. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, we're still streaming we're doing a stream on Wednesdays now. There's me, Flatbed Aquatics, and New Local Austin.
Oh, all right.
All three of us are mics, so
yeah, all right.
We call it the mic drop.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know if I know I've seen New Local Austin. I think I've even, chatted with him on a stream, but Flatbed, I'm not sure. I know the name. I know the handle. I don't think I know who that is though.
Yeah.
I don't think I know who that is though. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. And then we still do the Sunday Waymakers.
Yeah, you still doing that?
Yeah, you still doing that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing two things.
We actually have a guest this weekend, which will be Stephen P. and Ed's Exotic Aquatics.
Yeah.
And then our guest the following week is going to be Mitchell Broom.
Oh, very cool. Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, good.
But anyway, I've got to get out of here, Ron.
Yeah. Well, thanks again. Or should I say thanks again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, good seeing you, Ron.
Likewise, Michael.
We'll see you.
Bye. Bye. All right. Well, that's fine. Hey, Jeff. How you doing? Melvin, too. Wow. Yeah, so Jeff's under the weather today, so I hope he's feeling better. So it's just me for a while. I won't keep it too long because you don't want to stare at my ugly mug for that long. So yeah, so that's cool. See Mike, MC Aquatics. Yeah. I've been on his the Sunday night, what did he just say it's called? The Wavemakers a couple times. That's fun too. Good group. So, and it's hot in here too. That there's still no air conditioning. They've just about got it's 114 outside. They've just about got the patio poured, and I think once they do, then the big stuff that they got to do is, I don't know how it's applied, pebble coat inside the pool. Right now it's just all the plaster. The plaster's gone, so it's just a gunite, and so the pebble coat. But as soon as we can, I want to get the AC put back in on the side here. We took it out so that it wouldn't get damaged while they're going back and forth with wheelbarrows. And we thought they were going to be running a little Bobcat back and forth. They didn't end up doing that. They took wheelbarrows out, dumped it in the Bobcat, and then used the Bobcat to dump it up over the truck. So anyway, that's kind of the way it's been. And it's just freaking hot in this room and sticky, sweaty. I've got a couple fish tanks, so the humidity is really high in here. I don't have a thing to do relative humidity thing. Jeff in an emergency room, very drippy, has a whole other meaning. I have no idea. So yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No kidding. Now I get it. Yeah. I didn't see who posted that, Jose. Yeah. No thanks. As soon as there's water in the damn thing, Rachel, right now it's just a big empty pit. Today, they're pouring concrete. They're pouring, hi Cruz, it's been a while. They're pouring, hang on here just a minute. Let me give Cruz a moderator. They're pouring the coping around the pool. And the pool comes up and they're just pouring concrete right on top to make the coping. And that's an interesting process to watch the way they form that and all. And so they're pouring that, and they're pouring, next to the neighbor's house on the side, what would that be? The west side, like you can tell from here. And there's a small concrete walkway in front of that and a raised planter behind it, and then the neighbor's fence. And the raised planter's starting to fill up with water, and it's coming through the fence. And one of the concrete guys comes knocking on the front door and goes, I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of water coming from your neighbor's fence, and we're afraid it's going to screw up the concrete. So can you talk to him? So I gave him a call and went over there and saw, and his pool equipment, he's got one of those big filters, big pool filters, and it's got those four cartridge canisters that fit in. And at the bottom, there's a fitting that comes out, and then a union, which is a fitting that you can break apart and separate it out without having to cut pipe and stuff. Well, I guess that union failed, and it's under pressure. So, because the pool pump's still going, and it is just pumping water out of I think it was a 2-inch pipe. It might even been 3. It's just blowing water out as fast as it can. And the whole area around his pool equipment is in about a foot and a half of water. and his pool's down by at least 6, maybe 8 or 10 inches because it's just pumping the water out and it's coming onto our side. So anyway, that's kind of the way it's been going today. It's been fun. Concrete deck and coping is one piece. Yeah, on the flat surface it is. Yes, but behind the pool, it's a raised wall, almost 2 feet above waterline, Lance, and there's a planter behind it. So that's a separate coping that's about, God, I don't know, 1.5 feet wide and 4 inches thick, 2x4 for forms. So 4 inches thick and the length of the pool. So yeah, but where it's a flat surface, and then around the spa, it's also that coping that they're pouring in place. So, you know, it's a lip that sticks out, I don't know, maybe 1 inch or 2.5 inches, the thickness of a 2x4. So there's, you know, the surface of the pool, and they put a 2x4 that catches that coping, and then the other form goes up and the concrete, you know, sits in there. It's kind of a cool process, and it's already set, and they've already pulled all the forms. They're setting some other forms that are going to be, I'm guessing, like totally wrong, because the guy that's supposed to be doing the design work hasn't updated the plans for them. They're still working on old plans. So I'm going to go out there and shoot somebody after this is all over. Well, the pool guy, not these guys. They're just doing their job. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of the way it is. It's been fun. And it's, you know, when he started, he said, figure 3 months, like a new pool, and hopefully they'll be done in 2. I couldn't tell you when we first started. It's been a while now. I lost track. Yeah, that's hard work, man. These guys are, you know, it's like I said, it's 114 degrees, and there's got to be a dozen guys back there right now, schlepping dirt every which way, pulling forms. They were pouring concrete earlier today. There was a pumper out there, you know, and then they're doing, you know, they had to do one section of the concrete and then that part of that coping, and then the rest of the concrete goes in after, you know, the one section of the concrete close to the house, so they have something to screed to. So I think they're going to finish pouring tomorrow. Yeah, the pebble bottom's really nice. Yeah, I like it way better than plaster. But one thing I learned, we did a fix and flip about, God, I don't know, half an hour west here in Palm Springs in 2019. Same guy, same company put the pool in there because there was no pool at all. And there was 5 houses around us with pools. We figured we should probably have one if we want to sell the house. And did the pebble bottom. The one thing you got to be careful is once in a while, you know, it's a plaster mix, some sort of cementatious mix with the pebbles in it, you know, and once in a while they'll miss a little spot of that plaster that comes through, and it's like a razor blade. So, but it breaks right off. You know, if you catch it, you can just knock it off with your fingers. And ideally a couple cleanings with the broom and, you know, the vacuum, that takes care of it all. But it is way more comfortable. Problem with plaster here, especially white plaster or a light colored plaster, we get so much windblown dust that it settles in the pool. And overnight, there's times you can't see the bottom of the pool. The plaster's completely covered with silt. And there's so much iron oxide or iron, yeah, I guess iron, whatever, in the silt that it stains, it rust stains the bottom of the pool. So the pebble won't do that. And that really makes a much nicer bottom. And I think it's really a lot more elegant. You know, it's a lot sexier. And then there's going to be, you know, the LED, they're putting the LED, instead of those big lights, the old style incandescent, they're putting these LEDs in all the way around. And you can change colors with them, kind of like some of the aquarium lights or, you know, some of those other disco lights, you know. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I kicked the bottom of a pool about a week ago, and it was so rough it took oh, yeah, that sucks, man. Yeah. Yeah. That hurts too. Yeah. So, and then if you bleed, then there's sharks. There's always, you know, you never know. There's sharks in the pool. They can come out of they'll come out of the leaf skimmers. I've seen it. So anyway, that's kind of it. It's been fun, and I can't wait for it to be done though. They're nice guys. I think maybe 3 or 4 of them speak any English, but these guys just work their collective asses off. especially in real. Yeah, that's true. Stefan, it really is. Issues with the pool. Yeah, I mean, it was old. When we bought the place, the autofill, it's like a little toilet tank filler, was running constantly. And the water was right up to the bottom of the coping, and it was going under the coping. It had separated, and it was under the patio. And the tile was popping off everywhere. We had some repairs done. We had it drained. They don't acid bath. They do some sort of like a baking soda bath to clean it up, because acid's not so, environmentally friendly, I guess. Yeah, it's gunite, 2 N's. Yeah, not M's. Gunite. Maybe only 1 N, Gunite. Yes, gunite. Yeah. And so, yeah, the pool, I mean, it's ridiculous. It was 60 feet long. It goes from almost one end of the yard to the other. It's like a lap pool. The shallow end was up to here on me. And so that's about 5.5 feet, maybe 5. And it was over my wife's head. So they actually put a tanning shelf. That's what it's called. It's like a big ledge with a hole in it for an umbrella. And you can park a couple lawn chairs there. So yeah, these are real quality problems, Stefan. A couple lawn chairs, an ice chest, and you can spend the summer right there, sitting in about, I don't know, almost a foot of water. It's kind of cool. It's fun. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, you know what they need instead of spell check? They need intent check. Did you really mean that? I've always said that. So anyway, yeah. So we had them. We figure if we're ever going to sell the pool and the yard, the patio had been covered. It was a concrete patio, and somebody came in some years ago and put some sort of thick paint on it with masking tape down, to make some sort of weird grid pattern. And 2 coats, 1 coat like a gray, then the tape, and then another coat on top of that. It's kind of like a light blue or something. Then the tape comes up, and you got this. It looks like a big squares or rectangles. It just looks cheesy. So no, the gunite, Lance, no, the gunite gets the pebble coat. That'll all get pebble coated now. There's a trade brand called Pebble Tech. So that's, but pebble coat, they're just little fine pebbles, little fine beads of God knows what, maybe a ceramic or something like that. And it's mixed in with, some sort of plaster, like I said, some sort of cementatious mix. And then that's troweled on smooth, does the contours and everything, goes everywhere in the spa on the walls. Yeah, no. So no. And then above the water line, it'll be tile. And yeah, so going up the front of the spa, it'll all be tile. The race planters, the same tile to match. And then, we're going to plant the back of it. It's a planter about 2.5 feet wide. Right now, there's a couple of ocotillos back there. We're going to take those out and put them in the front yard. And I'm just going to put, it's called golden clumping bamboo all the way around the yard for privacy. A lot of people use ficus. I don't know if you know what that is. Ultimately, they get big trees, and you got to shear them, and it's a mess. So we thought the bamboo would be a little slicker. So yeah, so we thought if we ever wanted to sell the place, we can't sell it like that. We did a lot of work, spent a lot of money on the inside of the house. We got a really good deal on it when we bought it. So we brought it up to from 1997 to 2020, wherever we are. 24 when it finished last year. So now it's just the pool. And then we'll do some light landscaping in the front yard. And maybe we'll put it on the market and get the hell out of Dodge. It's getting weirder and weirder all the time here. We were talking about Texas. The grandkids and Kathy's daughter are in Rowlett, Texas, kind of northeast of Dallas. There are clumping bamboos, yes, and that's what we're going to use. It's called golden clumping bamboo. There are running bamboos also. And one thing I learned, the more you water, the more you feed bamboo, the more out of hand it can get. So this is, and the canes on this one stay maybe an inch. So it's a smaller, they'll get maybe 12 feet tall, 10 to 12 feet tall, but it's a smaller scale bamboo. So it should look good. And it's got a golden green foliage. And I think against everything else, it'll look good, you know. And then, you know, a lot of times what they do is they put rock mulch everywhere. And that's what was back there. They just covered all the dirt with rocks. And, you know, and over time, there's so much, like I said, there's so much dust and dirt blowing in the air here that the rocks just get completely covered. So we're just going to let the leaf litter from the bamboo fall because it does, and just let that leaf litter fall. And it's natural and it keeps the soil cooler. And it's all the nutrients that the bamboo took up into the leaves. They drop and it just breaks down and goes right back into the soil. Flipped a house that had bamboo in the backyard that we thought yeah, I've been there. I used to teach at a horticulture department at Fullerton College in Fullerton, California. And while I was still a student there, gas, yeah. While I was still a student there, we had this big patch of bamboo that we wanted to get rid of. And I dug it out, you know, and I got down it's shallow rooted. It only goes down about a foot and spreads out. And it's like these blocks. It had been there for years. Dug around and just, you know, dug underneath it and got an axe and just chopped out these big blocks a little at a time. And over time, got rid of the whole thing, never came back. So it can be done, but it's a lot of freaking work. And I'm not too worried about this. You know, ficus, the same thing. People put those ficus in. Next thing you know, you got stumps that are, you know, over a foot wide. And the last thing I want is that pushing that retainer wall of the pool away. I don't want to damage that, you know, that. And I know it can eventually. It'll start breaking up the block wall we have behind it too. And I don't want that. So this bamboo, it's a smaller bamboo. It's a better choice. And then we'll have drip irrigation all the way between it. And then, I don't know, maybe we'll put some cool accent lighting back there too. If we can, we'll figure that out maybe. And accent lighting, we've got this, it's like a Wi-Fi control out by the pool equipment that we can turn the spa on, turn the pool on, turn the lights on and off, whatever, from our phones. And so we can hook up to that unit, any outdoor night lighting. That'd be cool too. So there's a lot, and that'll make it all worth a little bit more, hopefully. Two things I never have: bamboo in my garden and sand. Yeah, I get it. You know, it's all preference. It's all preference. I taught and did landscape design and installed landscapes for years. And, you know, I like bamboo. I think there's a lot of really neat ones. They have their place. They can, you know, there are some that can get just vicious, you know, real aggressive. But there's a lot of other plants that can do that too. You know, vines can go nuts. You know, I've had some of those that I've had to take out that can do a lot of damage to, you know, even on big heavy duty wood trellises. Some of like wisteria and some of the others, they can get so big they can blow wood trellises apart. Big heavy duty wood trellises. So I do get it, yeah. And as far as sand goes, also a preference. You know, I've got sand in some tanks and gravel in others, and gravel and sand mixed in others. And when I use sand now, I just use pool sand, the pool filter sand, because I don't have to wash it. You know, I've bought the sand at a Home Depot, the builder sand, the brown builder sand, and it's so dirty. And I've seen somebody, I don't remember who, I think it was Jake from, what is it, HHK, did a video where he just like poured it in and slowly filled it up, and he didn't get all that stuff in the water column. So, you know, I take it, you know, with a grain of salt. Yeah, passion vine, that can, yeah, dig up and control. Yeah. I love the flowers. They are, and there's a lot of different passion vines, Lance. They are really spectacular. And they call them that, you know, because of the Passion of the Christ, right? The parts of the flower. It's kind of cool. There's some I'm not history. What's the word? So to that flower, some lore. How's that? So yeah, they're really cool. So the hardy, yeah. There's one. Well, there's a bunch that'll actually freeze over. There's a couple that are real weedy. There's one called Passiflora fetida, And I think they call it that because the flowers smell a little bit like rotten meat. And that's a wild passion flower. And then there's a lot of the edible ones, the one called Passiflora edulis, the edible passion fruit. And, they juice it, put it in juice. They're full of seeds. I don't like eating them, but I like the juice. It's good. Makes good sorbets, or whatever you call those kind of frozen treat things that you make in an ice cream maker without all the other milk and stuff, kind of cool. And they are spectacular flowers. They really are. I had one called, and you have this back there, Lance. I know you do because I've seen it. And God, what do you call it? The states along the coast where you live and the Carolinas. And I've seen it further south, and I've seen it up where my cousin lived in Massachusetts, the Virginia creeper. And I had that in Southern California. And it's just an amazing fall color, even in Southern California. But it literally blew apart. The trunk on this thing literally blew apart the support that it was on. So massive. Ex-wife, I had Passiflora as one of our wedding flowers. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There's a couple that they use in Southern California for butterfly attracting. There's one that attracts I think it's the adult butterflies for the nectar. And I don't remember if they also lay their eggs on it, because typically butterflies, there's two plants. There's two host plants. There's the adult the adult nectar plant, so the ones that the butterflies come and feed on the nectar, and then there's the larval host plant where the adults lay their eggs, and when the larvae hatch out, they defoliate the plant, and then they go into their pupa or chrysalis and come out as adults, fly away, and the plant just grows new leaves. It's a cycle. It works really well. It's kind of cool. So I used to teach the horticulture stuff, and I remember, that's one of the things. I also taught pest control, and I had this lovely older lady in my class one time, and she's going, I've got this butterfly garden, and the butterflies, the caterpillars are just destroying this one plant. It's like, well, so, I tried to explain it to her, that what I just said, and all of a sudden her eyes got really big, and, I'm thinking, there it is. And she got it, and then she understood, and she was, perfectly fine with it then, that they were supposed to defoliate that. So they say it gets a fruit, never seen one. Maybe you don't have, I don't know if they're self-fertile or if they need a pollinator, something to go from flower to flower to flower, carry pollen from flower to flower. I don't know. And I'm not really sure. And maybe it's one that, isn't really known for the fruit. Jody, Heidi, how are you? Welcome in. We were just talking about plants, oddly enough. I saw a silk tree for the first time today. Had to use a plant ID app to find out what it was. Pretty flowers. Look like big orchid blossoms, Rachel. And was the bark on it really green and full of thorns? Or big spines? That's another one. But that kudzu. Yeah. That stuff's evil. They tried to establish that 3 times, and 3's a charm. First 2 times it failed. It was for erosion control. I think it goes back to, maybe in the early 1900s. The 3rd time it took off. And I've been through parts of Mississippi and Alabama where you can't see anything but kudzu. It's awful. It is awful. And that's why there are laws about introducing species that shouldn't be introduced. Yesterday on Jeff's stream, we had Dr. Ted Coletti, and he was talking about water hyacinths being illegal. And I always thought it's because they're so damn invasive. And he was talking about because they changed the water chemistry, or not the chemistry, but the water biology. They make it so sterile that nothing can live in it. So interesting. Don't get Jody started on plants. Me either, Lance, because that was, my degree is in ornamental horticultural science. And I had another minor in pest control. And so, it's deep green foliage, pale pink puffballs for flowers. Interesting. And what did you call it? silk tree. There's one that I know I used to teach called a floss silk tree, and they also call it kapok. And it had these really big flowers that looked almost orchid-like, and then the fruit were these big green pods, almost look like big avocados, but they'd split open, the sides would fall off, and there'd be this white silky fuzz. That's kapok, and they used to use that for stuffing like stuffed animals, for hassocks, footstools, for life preservers. And they quit doing it. I don't know. It's just, it's a native to Brazil, I think, and like southern Brazil, very tropical. So I don't know if that's the same thing or not. Mimosa. Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe what Rachel's talking about. Yeah, mimosa, another really invasive plant. When we were on Oahu, going up the center of Oahu from South Shore to North Shore, the canyons, the valleys are just covered. All you can see is treetops of mimosa. Yeah. And really, Rachel, the only name that works is the scientific name, and that's what I used to teach when I taught plant ID classes, was the genus and species. And so it was a plant identification, and you had to be able to recognize the plant and use Albizia julibrissin exactly. That's mimosa, and that's that was every week. I would have a quiz, and I'd put up, I think, 20 samples, leaf samples, sometimes photos, sometimes flower samples, and give them a sheet of paper, and they had to write out the scientific name, the genus and the species, and then the common name or non-standard name. A buddy of mine taught me that, non-standard. And I think that's really more accurate, because the common name's not common. You go to different parts of the country, and those common names are regional. Go to different nurseries up and down the same street, and they have different common names. So it's, it's really regional. So it's a non-standard name. But the scientific name, ideally, you can always find what you're looking for using the scientific name. So, but yeah, that's what Oahu was covered with. So, yeah. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Whip. It's, yeah, I quit drinking. Geez, I don't know how many years ago. Found out I was allergic to alcohol. Used to break out in handcuffs. Shit, it's hot back here. God, I need a thermometer back here just so I know how miserable I am. Probably not. So, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, enough horticulture, or not. I don't know. I talk about plants with you guys all day long. I love plants, I got to come up with something. In fact, Dr. Ted Coletti was on Jeff's stream yesterday. Yeah, go away. Go on. I'm not feeding you. No, I'm not going to feed you. Go on. She's hanging her head like he's doing the walk of shame. And he's got a book, and it's just got a whole list of pond plants. And I got to see if I can find some. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I got to see if I can find some that'll go in my 100-gallon tub out here, and see what I can do. I'd love to get some. All I've got right now are water lettuce floating on top, the dwarf water lettuce, and it's not happy. It's just, I think it's singeing around the edges. It's alive. It keeps growing, but it doesn't get any bigger. I've got it in the garage in a tub. They're this big. Outside, they're, about the size of a silver dollar maybe. And well, hang on just a minute here. Let me make Whip a moderator there. Yeah, so I've got 2 tubs that I'd submerged also. One with Amazon sword. I don't remember what the species is. The so-called common Amazon sword, Echinodorus, whatever it is. It should be Echinodorus, whatever it is, EI. And then jungle val. And the jungle val is doing good. It's back up to the surface. In fact, last fall it flowered for me out there, and that was really cool. I'd never seen jungle val flowers before. Really pretty little flowers on this long, slender spike that does a corkscrew. It's like it wound up, took a piece of wire, wound it up around a Phillips screwdriver, and then a little flower at the end. Kind of pretty. I was kind of hoping it'd seed, but never did. I don't know, maybe it did, and still in the water. Yeah. And I think I've got maybe 3 different species of valve now. I got to figure out what one of them is. I got that corkscrew valve from Jody, and then I've got jungle valve, and then I got another one, and it's a short dwarf straight-leafed valve from Brandon over at my local fish shop, Coachella Valley Aquatics. So like that. So yes. Need to tune into the weather for, yeah, hopefully nothing bad, Jody. Yeah, Mike was on earlier, M&C, and we were talking about inclement weather in your part of the world. And we were talking about earthquakes also in your part of the world, which is weird. So yeah, hopefully all's well in the Midwest. Guys have just had enough. Oh my God, yeah, just the rain and and heat everywhere. Now, yesterday I was whining about being 108, and Richard chimed in and goes, "Yeah, and we're 96% humidity." That's great, So if you're thirsty, just like literally scoop a glass of water right out of the air. I don't know. So like that. That's kind of the way. That's kind of my story. You're kind of stuck with it, so. And then all of a sudden I got nothing. So I don't know if anybody looking to come up here and keep me company for a little bit, or if you want to just wrap it up and call it a day, go do what you got to do, and maybe I'll go find a cooler spot in the house. Buy anything for Prime Day. Yeah, well, not technically. I bought a new Aqua Clear 70, and it's not the Fluval one, it's the old Aqua Clear 70. I've got one on my 70-gallon tank, and I'm going to put this one on, and it's on the back corner of my 75-gallon, and I'm going to put this one on the end of the 75-gallon, kind of get a little cross stuff going here, and maybe pick up a lot of the sediment that's not getting picked up in there. Not long after I bought that thing, I put a video up, what'll it be, an Aqua Clear 70 or a Fluval FX4, I think. Turned out the FX6 is just as cheap. And it was like split, and I'm still getting people, and this is a year and a half ago or so, I'm still getting people, watching that video and giving me their 2 cents. And I appreciate it. Well, it's found a 15-gallon on your morning. Really? Wow, so that's nice. So what do you like? Did you move into where Swiffle lives, or did they move to where you are? Because Swiffle was finding all kinds of aquariums, curbside pickup. Doesn't happen here. Maybe I just don't get out enough. I bought me a new pond to 100-gallon Rubbermaid from Oh, did you? Yeah, that's what I got, was a 100-gallon livestock tub from Tractor Supply. God, what was it? About 100 and a quarter, something like that. Wasn't too bad. And then I drilled into the side just below the lip and put a 3/4 inch female thread bulkhead in, and put a hose adapter, and I used a screen from a Graco Airless, because it's got male hose threads on it, screwed right in. And I was watching a Jeff Kane video the other day, his pond out back, and I was noticing he's got 3 of these bulkheads at one end. And I'm thinking, when I do a water change on this tub outside, I stick the garden hose in, and I can only turn it up just not too fast, because I don't want it to overflow, and there's Medaka rice fish, and I don't want them to take off. So I've got to really just be careful, just get it up to that screen and really no more. So I thought if I add 2 more of those bulkheads and 2 more of those screens, I might be able to add a little more flow, because ideally I'll have a little more flow going out, and try and get some stuff stirred up off the bottom, do more of an efficient water change. Because I don't have any filtration in that thing. There's no electricity out there. I guess I could run an extension cord out from the garage And I saw, I don't know, the first time I saw it was, I think, Jake and Katie, one of those Tractor Supply, no, not Tractor Supply, Temu pond filters. And I think Scotty's got one too. And I don't know. I mean, I've seen them on Amazon. I'd rather buy it from Amazon than Temu. But I don't know. I thought about putting that out there, and I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'll figure it out one of these days. But in the meantime, I'm going to put the extra bulkheads and the extra screens on, so that'll get me somewhere. Hopefully, it'll, kind of solve a little bit more of a problem. But yeah, I think that's. And then yesterday, watching Dr. Ted go through his backyard, he's got this really cool little 40-gallon Tractor Supply tub. It's maybe just about a foot tall, and it's 1.5 feet wide, or maybe 2 feet long. It's the same kind of oval shaped, and he's got it between two chaise lounges. And I think, God, that'd be cool. And then, it's shallower. He really is entertaining. I really enjoy him. It just seems like he's the kind of guy I wish I had for a next door neighbor. I like my next door neighbors, don't get me wrong, but but I'm thinking that smaller 40 might just, he's talking about the water, the temperature. What did he call it? Who else was here? The temperature gradient. No, he used a different word from top to bottom. It gets cooler the further down you go. But I'm thinking, as long as it stays as hot as it gets, the thermocline, I think is what he called it. The temperature is just going to migrate into the center of the tub, and it's just going to be cooking. I don't know. It only catches part day sun where it's at, and by 12:30, it's in shade again. But the ambient temperature, the air temperature, it's got to drive it up. It just seems like it has to. I got to get one of those, completely submersible thermometer to, he was talking about a digital one that you can drop a probe down to the bottom. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what they look like. Sounds like one of the cooking thermometers. My wife's got one of those. She'd never know. She's not home. So I could, and then just run it in, rinse it off, and throw it back in the drawer. That could work. So anyway, there's that, the thermocline. Yeah. There's that one whip, that Temu one. And I know I've seen it on Amazon too. I might even have one in my cart saved for later on Amazon. Let me check. If I do, I'll bring it up. Wait to the cart. Got all this crap sitting. No, wait, no. Yes. Here, like this. Like that. That looks like the one that comes from Temu also. And I saw Jake and Katie setting one of these up on their tub in their fish room. And I think Scotty's got one just like this. Hey, Chuck. I think Scotty's got one like this also on his tub in Texas, deep in the heart of, where the sun shines bright. And anyway, and it looks like a pretty cool deal. You just build, I think he's got it, built some sort of a stand for it to sit on right behind the tub. Jeff, what are you saying? You're using a solar waterfall? Oh, with the battery backup. I thought about that. I'd have to find a place, I guess, run the solar up onto the roof or something, or off the fascia board, because of where the tub is. I've got that little silly floating one, and it only runs for maybe 3 hours, maybe 4 tops, and then the sun's moved past and it stops. So I'd have to figure out where to put it. And then, right now, while the sun's tracking further north, it's going to get more time. But when the sun starts moving to the south side of the house, it's going to be in the shade again. So I'm not sure just how practical that would be. I'm just going to have to sit out there and kind of do the, look at it and see if it'll figure out. I don't know. And this comes with a 25. Yeah. So there you go. So this is on Amazon. I'll put the link in the chat just cause. There you go. So whip, maybe something to look at. But Jeff, I like that. And you're out in the full, your full yard, right? Where it's unobstructed for your solar panels, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just guessing because unfortunately I've never visited you at your house. Someday maybe for that barbecue. When is that? Did I already miss it? So, but this seems like a pretty good idea. It's got the layers. It's got kind of a foolproof thing that when you see water coming up in this area here, you know that it needs to be cleaned. So, and I thought, geez, I could just about build one of these. I mean, there's a whole parts list, and just need a couple plastic boxes that stack. In fact, I am not sure that I didn't see Mexicali Fish Keeper build something like this once in his garage, first weekend in August. Wouldn't that be cool? That would be fun. I would love to come hang out with some of you people back there. So anyway, they're just a thought there, Whip. So, and if I got something like that, the easy thing to do would be to run a cord out of the garage and then maybe put it on a timer. Wisconsin Fish. Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, put it on a timer so it only runs, I don't know, 6 or 8 hours a day. Doesn't need to run at night, But and I guess it would help oxygenate the water. And according to Ted, that's really not too big of an issue as long as your tank is not, Swiffle, as long as your tub is not completely covered with plants. There's got to be exposed surface. And I guess that's also one of the problems with that he was talking about with the water hyacinth. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, Florida's in the house. I keep wanting to, move to Florida. Probably somewhere around Kissimmee, Orlando, only because the parks are there. And my wife and I, we've got that obsession, whatever, with Disneyland. So we may be getting older, but we still haven't grown up. I like to consider myself just a better behaved 13-year-old, Not as, I don't get in as much trouble as I did then. But it is what it is. So, yeah. So anyway, let me back up. See what? Yeah, the Chuck, you're talking about that filter system. That does look pretty simple to build, and it's got the whole parts list right there. I mean, how hard can that be? So if I could find the boxes, then I could. 3 stacking boxes like that, and everything else would be, everything else would be easy. This isn't a fish fan page. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Jeff. I don't know if everybody saw that. I don't click on stuff like this often enough. Oh, there's my cat again. My wife ought to be home soon. Yeah, another 10 minutes or so, and she'll give the cat treats. Harbor Freight has a nice container selection. Really? God, I haven't been into Harbor Freight for years. I used to just not go there. I just choose not to go there. I had a buddy. I used to do commercial floor covering with this guy. And he always bought his tools at Harbor Freight, and then he'd replace them, and then he'd replace them, and then he'd replace them, and then and I'd buy stuff at, even Home Depot that would outlast his, 3-4 times to 1. So I think that's why I didn't go to Harbor Freight much. I have bought some stuff there. I have to find one here in the Valley. I'm sure there's one around here somewhere. It's a big valley. It's not that big valley because there would be, you know, cowboys and stuff running around, but there's not. So I use them select. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Lifetime warranty on what? On Harbor Freight tools? Is that new? You changed your taste in wrist bracelets. Yes. Yes, I did. I did. Yep. From the shiny ones that took a key to the big plastic ones with a little Mickey on the surface. Is that what you're talking about there, Lance? Yes. Yep, on their hand tools. No kidding. Not their power tools, though, I'm guessing, Jesse. What's that? Yeah. Like Craftsman and Scrap. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Funny stuff. Yeah, I like, you know, that's the neat thing about doing new projects too. Always get a new tool out of a new project. And I love that. Jody, take care. Work emergency. I hope it's nothing, you know, like life threatening or anybody injured or nothing like that. Just something's got to get done. So enjoy your evening. And thank you for popping in. Always a pleasure. Yeah. Hey, Drew. How you doing, bud? Yeah, it's my next big project. I bought a big air pump, and I just got to plumb the ceiling of the garage. And I wish I could turn it upside down. It'd be a hell of a lot easier to work on than stand it back up. And you know, do that because right now I'm running 3 of those little paw flies. They work well. It's not enough. It's ridiculous. So one of these bigger ones redeemed that the other day. Oh, very cool. Yeah. So just out of curiosity, Jeff, how much is the Patreon membership for Fish Fam Link? Which in and out, Drew? Don't remember. Oh, I don't remember which one. Fair enough. That's right. You used to be out here, didn't you? Yeah. I'll look. And you know what? They're talking about building a 3rd in and out now. So we've got one in a Thousand Palms. There's one in God, right around the corner. And I'm not sure if it's Palm Desert or La Quinta on the 111. It's a buck. Wow. All right. Very cool. Who's got eggs? What did I miss? Oh, Swiffle's Angels. You guys in Florida, you're taking all the fun out of this, man. My angelfish just stare at me. I walk out there, then they wave. It's like, go do something. What are you going to do? Damn fish. Let me go click on this thing. Ralph the Gardener. Now I want to switch. Garage Aquatics. Auto save. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's the cookout. Okay, wait a minute. No, I'm looking for the Fish Fam link. I'll have to go back through the chat because I know it's here. I ate the last 4, really. Wow. I do not know who Tom Segura is. But I like their story. We were driving back here from oh, here we go. We were driving back here to the desert from Orange County, and Kathy and I do that stuff. Just look something up. She'll be reading it to me, whatever, while Oh, cool. All right. Hang on just a minute. I am doing the Patreon thing. Keeping a membership going after August 10th. Add details. PayPal. And we did the, oh God, what's it called? The Wikipedia thing, the history of In-N-Out Burger. And it's pretty amazing. And the woman that's running it now, she's the daughter of one of the brothers of the father, her grandfather, I think that was the founder. Membership confirmed. All right, cool. Jeff, thanks for putting that up there. Yeah, so and she's had, she was her own worst enemy for a lot of years, and she's just a remarkable woman now. She probably always was, but we all have our challenges. So, I like their double animal style. Yeah. Ron, do I know who Bert? No, I don't. Jess, no. Yeah, it's easy to get in those kind of rabbit holes, Chuck. Yeah. Their Patreon is set up to pick your own donation. All right, so I guess that'll come along at some point. Or maybe I haven't seen that yet. It's set up. I just left the chat open. Or not the chat. I just left that page open. I'll deal with it more fully when we're done here. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Jeff. Yeah, there's not a lot of stand-up that I spend a lot of time watching. There's a couple. There's one guy that's going to be in town. I want to say Henry Cho. And if that's who I think it is, funnier than hell. But yeah, not a lot of stand-up. Just depends. The comedy that works closely with Tom Score. Yeah, not a clue. Kathy, you probably know. She follows a lot more of the stand-up. I think she and her brother, they go back and forth on Messenger, sharing stuff like that, and I'm just not, in that loop. And I think mostly it's by choice. So, but there are good stand-ups. I like who is it? Is it Facebook or Instagram? Dry Bar Comedy. I like that. Yeah, while I'm doing stuff, a lot of times if I'm not listening to music, I'll listen to podcasts or YouTube that are mostly like podcasts. Like I know a lot of you know this, and you're probably tired of hearing it, but I'm trying to get that eBay reselling business off. So I listen to a lot of eBay resellers, talking about stuff about how eBay works, how to best use eBay, to your own benefit. So I listen to a lot of that. And then, I used to listen to, I've got a lot of books on Audible. So that, just depends on how I feel. So music, though, a lot of music. I've got almost 11,000 songs on my iTunes, and they all fit on my phone because, so I just hit shuffle and I hear music that I haven't heard in a long time that way. And I've got one of those little JBL things out in the garage. So when I'm working out there, that's it. What I'm with you on eBay and the how-tos as well. Yeah. And it's interesting. There's one guy I really like. It's not a lot of, drama stuff, that, oh my God, eBay's falling apart, can't make money on eBay, all that. It's not that crap. It's a guy named Justin Resells. And he goes through what he's done every week. He's created his own software for tracking. And I think I'm going to buy it because I've got enough stuff going out there now that it'll be good for tax time. Yeah. And that's probably the kind of comedy I don't watch with, but I get it, Not into a lot of the crotch holding comedy, it's like, yeah. But what's his name? What did I say? Johnny Cho? Is that right? He's obviously an Asian comic. That's not him. That's John Cho. That's the actor that was in Star Wars or Star Trek. No, I can't remember the guy's name. And he's playing here in town. Kathy wants to go, so we might end up going to see him. So I don't know. Yeah, Justin Resells. Chuck, JustinResells. Justin Resells. And that's the name of his channel. RESE, one E too many. There we go. Yeah, it's good stuff. So there's a couple like that I watched. They run up their comps, how much they paid for something, and what the comps are, the sold comps, not what it's selling for. Most people don't think that way. Well, it's like I put something up, but they're going for $200. You go to yard sales and people are going, well, eBay says it's $25. Yeah, that's what people are asking for it. But if you go to the filter and see what it's sold for, it's only selling for $10. So think about that. So that means there's no money to be made in some of this stuff. So, and yeah, I still sell. I've got 2 eBay channels now. One that's totally fish, aquarium, plants related, and the other one it's all resell stuff. Yeah, and I get the USPS, but I'll tell you what, with the eBay stuff, I ship almost exclusively USPS Ground Advantage. And then with fish, I've been shipping UPS second day air, and also FedEx second day air. I use Shippo outside of eBay, and I can't get access to FedEx second day air, only UPS second day air. But on eBay, if it's an eBay sale, I can use either one. And I like that. And then the only time I use priority anymore is for shrimp. I'll put them in the small boxes, and I'll ship shrimp USPS priority. And then a while back, what's GNC Aquatics, Gabriel? I'm sure most of you know him. He lives in the Bakersfield area, and I'm in Palm Desert. And, it's probably like, I don't know, 6-hour drive from there to here, maybe not even that much. And I was shipping him some fish. It's been a few months now. And he goes, check out UPS Ground. And I go, come on, they're live fish. And he goes, they'll probably get here by tomorrow or within 2 days. So, all right. So I did. And I think for $8, I shipped a box of fish to Gabriel, and they got there the next day. UPS Ground. So if they're close enough, UPS Ground is not a bad way to go. I wouldn't have dared ship fish to Richard, all the way in Florida, UPS Ground. They'd still be out there. They'd be bouillabaisse by now. So agreed. I've recently done price drops just to see if my sales will come back, because I promote too. I promote everything too, but I promote at 2%. I know eBay will tell you, you got to promote this at 12.2%. I promote at 2%. And that's at the suggestion of Justin Resells. And I like him. I hold a lot of stock in his stuff. I believe him. I've listened to other resellers. I don't promote anything. And it's like, and a lot of times they're the same doom and gloomers. eBay's a mess. It's like, you can't make any money at the thrift stores, blah, blah, blah. And it's all BS. It's all BS. You got to be willing to pay up for some stuff. Yeah, let's see. So anyway, yeah, I promote, like I said, I promote everything because what it does is it gets you at the top of the list. And then I also end listings right before the 30-day mark. eBay will automatically relist it for you, and it keeps the same listing number. I promote, or I keep an eye on the listings. I sort everything by ending soonest. And when I look on the phone app, when there's a little red line ending within, less than a day, I will end the listing and then relist it. And you get a new listing number that brings it back up towards the top of the queue. So I do that regularly also. And a lot of times, and he said this, a lot of times, you'll end and relist stuff that's been sitting for a while. All of a sudden it'll sell because it's back up to the top. People see it. So I ship a lot to, with the resale stuff, lucky me, I ship everything lands on the East Coast. So I'm paying, when I'm doing free shipping, I bake in the cost of shipping, but there's no extra pennies to squeeze out of it because it's using up pretty much everything. So Green Dragon plecos from Brant today. Bought 2 lots, 8 plecos. I'm glad to hear that. I got a bunch of Green Dragons from him a couple months ago now, Dennis, and they are spectacular little fish. That's very cool. Let's see, back in the day, New Jersey, Virginia, New York, Maryland was next day using ground UPS. I don't think it's like that now. It might be worth looking into, Lance, with something that's not real perishable. Just check. I wish I could get FedEx second day air on Shippo, but for whatever, can't do that. Read that relisting is what they want. It doesn't cost, it uses up, I got 250 free listings and I don't have that many. So it just ticks off some of those, no big deal, but it puts stuff back up towards the top of the queue. And that's why I keep doing it. Got to go. Tanks all for, you're welcome. Thanks for being here, Don. Always a pleasure, my friend. Got Rainbow Shiners, Trout Goodyear, and Guppies from Brenton yesterday. All right, and I'm guessing all happy and well. Jesse, not a problem. And my Liar Tail Mollies came in yesterday from Jason, 5-star bettas. Same, happy, healthy, in 100-degree water. Rosie Barbs. Who's got Rosie Barbs? I do not know. What about Foxy or Peplin? Yeah, not a clue. Not a clue. Yeah, Jesse, were those all from the auction? From Jeff's auction? Peplin, yeah, all right. Yeah, worth a check. Because they managed to spawn a lot of those egg scatters, if I'm not mistaken. That's nice. Yeah, when I shot the bags of water, I did it right here. They were 99.5 degrees. The box on the outside was a little cooler. I think probably it started cooling off in the room here. But wow. Water change. Yeah, I got to go do that. I've got my tanks are my 75 gallons down. God, what is that? 6 inches from evaporation out in the garage. I got to get my backside out there. And, I'm going to have to do all that tomorrow. Start in the morning. And I got to do water changes all the way around the garage. And one's in here, easy. That one does. That's the one with my Royal Farloella. What do they call Royal Farloella whiptails? Those are really cool little fish. And I've got a big, all in that corner right there. That's just a big handful of leaf litter from the tree outside. I brought them in and I just put them in a bucket full of hot water, and I changed the water several times. And not so much to, trying to leach out tannins, but just to get them to sink quicker. And then that dark spot there is not banana leaves, bird of paradise leaves. I'll go back and forth depending on what I got, bird of paradise or banana leaves. And the Royal Farloella, when I first got those, I got them from Aquahuna, and I had them in a 5.5 gallon for a quarantine. And I took, there's a terracotta pot in there too. I took that terracotta pot, and it had all that slime on it, and there's crypts growing out of it. I put that in the tank with them, and I put a handful of banana leaves in there, and I think probably grabbed some out of another tank. They get all that slime. And a lot of people were talking about how hard it is to keep little bitty whiptails. I thought the bio slime, and then I also threw green water in there, So I've got a bucket of green water outside. So I was putting green water in there regularly, and I didn't lose any so far, knock on wood. And they've grown. They're, I don't know, 2.5, pushing 3 inches now. I'm about to pull the adults also. So fresh grow out soon. Are we talking whiptails, Jeff? The you had the God, I can't remember what they're called, the different whiptail. Or did you have the Farowellas also? But I was going back and forth with Richard about that too. The using the bamboo, the edible caves essentially. Oh, the rosy barbs, cool. Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah. So instead of like PVC or whatever, I mean that gets bioslime on it eventually. But the bamboo right away, and same thing with the clay tubes. They get bioslime in there eventually, but in no time the bamboo is building bioslime, and when the eggs hatch out, babies got their first meals right there, which is kind of cool. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that. So, but like that, I would like to get those whiptails up big enough to maybe eventually spawn. I don't know, nothing. The only thing that spawned for me, and they quit, were the Medaka ricefish. I don't know if it's just too hot for them now. And then I got some platies from Jason, mixed platies from Jason a while back. And I think it was the fall auction, and they're spawning. But so my live bears spawn, but none of my egg layers spawn, except for the Medakas out in the tub, and I think they're done. So I do like the idea of bamboo and oak caves. Yeah. And I think oak's going to leach out some tannins. Yeah, maybe more so than maybe more so than the bamboo would. And if you buy bamboo, you got to make damn sure, buy any kind of wood, make damn sure it's not been treated with anything. And I guess you could go get some, oak, like quarter sawn oak, it's expensive. And then bore holes in the ends and make caves, throw them in the water. Eventually they'll sink, or you can weight them down. Eventually they'll, and use those. So, make your own homemade caves that way. You either need a drill press or, a big paddle bit or something and a vise to come in from the end. But that would work. Plecos eat an oak cave faster than, really? And you boil them. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Interesting. What did you use? Branches, like drill out branches, or that's weird. That I guess you could even use like a bigger log and drill several caves in there and have a cave condos, pleco condo. Yeah. Yeah. I got the bamboo cave thing from that guy, Ed something. He did that. I was talking about that earlier, the catfish pitch at Saki railing material. All right, yeah. The Saki conference year ago in April and outside of Phoenix. And I cannot remember his last name. Ed Thomas, maybe. It's not Moats, and it's not Bodrock. It's and this guy, he's a PhD in, I don't know, ichthyology. And he's got books or something on catfish. He was talking about the whiptails and plecos and cories mostly. It was a good pitch. It was a really good pitch. I don't know if they put that up on maybe their Facebook page. Maybe I can go back and find that. That'd be cool. Bunch of bamboo drying to use it. Yeah. And bamboo will eventually split, when it dries, but that's not going to hurt anything. So I don't know if you'd want to use it green or not. I don't know if that would matter. Use red oak as a place of snapping turtle. Yeah, it sank right, really, because it's what's so dense or just so porous. In fact, what did I use? Red oak for a floor that I did when we lived in Orange County. They were 3/4 inch tongue and groove red oak. And a couple people got on me, you shouldn't use red oak because it sucks up moisture. I used it in the bathroom too. And so maybe that's it. It's just so porous. It's a big sponge. Large enough. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, garden centers, and big bamboo is not inexpensive. Hey, take it easy. Chuck, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Yeah, if you can find it at a garden center, maybe. And again, like at Lowe's or Home Depot, or what do you got, Menards back there or whatever, just make sure it's not treated. Because I think that could be a real issue depending on what they treat it with. And I know a lot of times when you see bamboo at the home centers, it's colored, like it's primed or painted or stained with something. Okay, very good. Yeah. Bamboo sinks. Yeah, after it's saturated. Yeah, 1/2-inch PVC. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I saw his video a few days ago, Dennis. In fact, I was going back and forth with him on that video about bamboo because it makes that first meal for the babies with the bioslime that builds up. But I did see he's using PVC. And PVC is accessible just about anywhere, and it's not terribly expensive. It's gone up, but it's not terribly expensive. So, yeah, he's got some cool fish too. You guys in Florida just keep getting eggs. Dinner bell, Lance, enjoy. I got to get going here in a bit too. Kathy's home. She just got back. So I think probably a good time to wrap this up and tell you all how much I appreciate you being here. And Jeff, thanks for that link for the Patreon. I appreciate that, and hope the rest of you got in on that too. Let's see, I can still find that and copy and paste it in maybe. I don't know if I can do that. I'll just copy your whole chat in there. Let me put that in there and see if that works. So yeah, take a minute and click on that Patreon link for Fish Fam link and give it a join. I wasn't even aware of that. So, all right. So as always, yeah, well, you know what? Thanks for being here too. And thank you for, making it accessible. I appreciate that. And we'll see y'all, I don't know, maybe either next Tuesday, next Thursday. So I've still been going back and forth. I was doing 2 days a week, down to one, because too much other stuff going on. Quality problems. Stefan was saying that earlier about the pool. Quality problems. My life is full of quality problems. And I don't even like to use the word problems. I like quality challenges. It's all semantics, but what the hell. All right, y'all. Love you. And thanks for being here. Cheers. Thanks, Smiley.